Elle est une porte-parole passionnée depuis 31 ans. Elle a fondé l'IDF suite au diagnostic de son fils John, qui est atteint d'agamote-globulinémie, l'ILX. Elle a supervisé tous les aspects des programmes de l'IDF et a développé de nouvelles ressources pour répondre aux besoins des patients dans un monde constamment en changement. Accueillons Mme Marcia Boyle.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, great. Je vais parler en anglais parce que je parle un petit peu de français. Merci. Well, several years ago at IDF, which is the International Patient Organization for Primary Immunodeficiencies, yes, there is one, and I'll actually talk about it a little bit later on, I met Jacques. And Jacques is a wonderful man, as you all know, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for starting APIC. So how about a round of applause for Jacques? Very impressed with Jacques and with the whole committee. I met Martine and others. And one thing that I found in traveling around the world in all the years I've been involved with the Deficiency Foundation, listening to your questions here, we may not speak the same language, but the language of primary immunodeficiency is universal. Our questions, our concerns are the same. The questions you're asking are the questions people are asking in the United States, in France, in Germany, Italy, somewhere in China, South America, wherever. We have a group of rare disorders, and if we don't get together, if we don't have strong patient organizations, no one's going to advocate for us. So that's why APIC is here, that's why the Deficiency Foundation exists, and that's why we're all here. So join, be part of this organization, get other people to do it, because again, your voice counts. Sorry, I look at my screen here, I know there are other people over there, and together our voices can educate governments, educate other people that primary immunodeficiency diseases exist and are very important. Well, I'd like to spend a little time talking about the Immunodeficiency Foundation. My son was diagnosed at the age of 6 months in 1978 with X-linked agammaglobulinemia. Anyone here have XLA? No XLA is here? Okay. I bet there's a lot of CVID. I've been hearing that a lot. I had never heard of primary immunodeficiency. I heard of David the Boy in the Bubble, and that frightened me. What's my son going to do without an immune system? And luckily, we live in a good institution, Johns Hopkins in Maryland, and we discovered there is a treatment. There's immunoglobulin replacement for what my son has, and I started to have hope that he would grow up and he would have a good life. And because of immunoglobulin replacement, he's grown up, and I'm a grandmother now, and there's some very good outcomes, but it was scary through the years. In 1980, I started to ask questions, and I'm a librarian by background. Why isn't there an organization? Why aren't there patient materials? Materials that are written just for patients. And by the way, there was no internet then. Some of you who are young can't even imagine, that you couldn't Google primary immunodeficiency and get some information. There was nothing. So we gathered together with a small group of people and decided to create a national organization for primary immunodeficiencies. For years, we thought we were the first in the world. We did find out that Sweden started a year before us, so I don't quite have that distinction of being the first, but one of the early ones. And it's been quite a journey, but we are there nationally in the United States for patients, and we want to improve the lives of patients through advocacy, education, and research. So Jacques asked me to talk a little bit about our sources of revenue. Well, industry contributions and grants grants, and like you have some wonderful supporters who are here. So thank your industry supporters. They're making all this possible. They're wonderful. We get individual contributions. We do a walk that we'll talk a little bit about, other special events, and we've been able to get government grants and some contract revenue as well. And now an organization that started on my kitchen counter, we have a staff of 32, and we have patients around the country, meetings around the country. And you know, we still feel that we just hit the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we need to do for primary immunodeficiency. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on trends, but my board and others want to know what are the trends we're seeing. You know, we think there's a better understanding of primary immunodeficiency than there's ever been. More genetic defects are being discovered. I think when I started the organization, there were 35 or so primary immunodeficiencies. Now it's over 300 because they keep discovering more genetic disorders. Now there's an increased look at comorbidities, which is a good thing, because I think in the past these disorders haven't been appreciated how complex they can be with autoimmune disorders going on. So we're seeing continued increased need for education for our patients and our providers. I won't go into the barriers of care because this is rather centric to the United States, but cost is an issue, insurance. But wherever you go, whether you have a wonderful system as you do in Quebec that does cover the treatments, which is very good, you're still always going to be worried about barriers to care. And Jacques and I were talking met earlier about how to get severe combined covered. So that's a barrier to care for some of the most severe patients. But I have no doubt that APIC will persevere and these babies will be covered. Patient-centered care, speakers before talked about, each patient is different, and what might be good for one patient with common variable may be different for another, and patients need more customized resources. Good news, there are new products and technologies, better diagnostics, more choice in immunoglobulin, better bone marrow transplantation, and more use of gene therapy for our disorders. So our strategic directions very simply are to reach more patients. We know when we reach patients, they get education, they come to our meetings, they get our resources, and they have better tools to cope with their primary immunodeficiency. Education is key. Increase awareness and understanding of PI. Many comments today about families not understanding, physicians not understanding. That's universal. You know, there's a lot we all have to do together to increase the awareness. Improve access to quality care. That's something that we work very much on advocacy to make sure our patients always have access to the best treatment for them. Research, we do conduct some of our own research. We've done surveys, patient-reported outcomes for years, and we want to see more publications, and we want to get the patient voice out into the community more. And increase and diversify sources of support, which every patient organization has to worry about, and is something that we all have to focus on as we're trying to do all the good work that we want to do. So in 2021, our 5-year plan is to increase the number of patients connected to us to 25,000. That patients will have improved access to affordable care. All states will be screening for SCID. We have 50 states. Each state has to decide to do it. And there is a PEC test out there. We're very interested that could pick up some of the out-of-body deficiencies. Through our research initiatives, provide robust data to better understand the patient experience with the goal of improved patient care. Consistent funding for our research infrastructure. Assure IDF, the Deficiency Foundation, continues to be the trusted resource for patients, for patient information, and to continuously improve accessibility, education, and programs and research. So to increase our sources of support, we're going to do all this work. This I call my everything slide. Gives a little snapshot of our patient education materials and some of the programs we put on. Jacques asked me to kind of talk about some of the programs, and I will. And if you have any questions, love to answer them. One thing we do have in here is, I know there's a lot of discussion about how we work with schools. We get the same question constantly. How do I tell the teacher? How to explain to the school that my child has to miss more school than the normal child would. And we actually developed our own school guide. And this is something that could be adapted, parts of it, to here. So maybe that's something APIC would like to look at. You can certainly download it. Some of it is US-centric, but some of it is just practical information. And I think you'd want to enhance it, with Quebec and the situation here. So increasing our reach. Obviously, you can't have an organization anymore without having a robust website and being on social media. We're finding that the vast majority of patients who come to us for questions come through our website. Some people call us, but they're no longer just calling us. We have a place on our website that people can ask questions, and that's how they're finding us, and that's how they're finding information. So we all want to be mobilely responsive, and it's hard to keep up with it all, to put it mildly. But we do have an international, it's rather new section of our website, because many of our materials have been translated into a number of languages. We do have some of our materials translated into French, not as many as I'd like to say, but they all are on the website. I know that you all participate in World PI Week. In the United States, we have a National PI Awareness Month, the month of April, and then we concentrate things as well as World PI Week. One of the things that we did with this picture is at the Clinical Immunology Society, the leading clinical immunologists in the United States, we decided to partner with them. So the patients and the specialists working together, this was their meeting. We had an awareness t-shirt we all wore, but we had them, their whole membership, send out our materials to their patients. And again, you can't do this alone. The partnership of the patients and the physicians is absolutely essential. You see a little zebra over there. I'm going to see a little bit more of the zebra. I have a zebra pin on, so why is she talking about zebras? And in the United States, and I think it's pretty universal, physicians are taught in medical school, when you hear hooves, look for horses, look for the most usual diagnosis. Well, that doesn't cut it for primary deficiency. Immunologists are taught, when you hear hooves, look for zebras, look for the unusual. We launched a Think Zebra campaign in 2009. It has gone viral in our community. It's actually being used in other countries around the world. You come to one of our meetings and you're going to see more zebra garb than you ever thought existed. I have zebra t-shirts, zebra skirts. I didn't wear zebra today except for my pin. And I really likes it. It's like, okay, we're not that, we're a little bit different. You have to understand us and you have to pay attention. We're zebras. So in 2016, this is just a kind of an example of the meetings that we put on around the country. We had 2 family retreats on the off year of our big national conference, which is a biannual event. We'll talk a little bit in a couple minutes about our teen escapes, which are fabulous weekends. We put on 29 patient-level meetings around the country, kind of like this, but usually a half-day meeting, and then some of them are expanded. We have childcare, always childcare at our retreats in our national conference. But we're also finding we can't cover the whole country at all times, and we have Get Connected meetings that we help work with volunteers. We give them resources to put on kind of support groups and mini education meetings that don't have to be led by our staff. So retreats, I mentioned, we have 2 every other year, and these are weekend retreats starting on Friday night, going to Sunday morning, and we bring in regional experts. And a lot of the same things that go on here, and their social activities, as well as a lot of in-depth programming. Our big event is our biennial conference. I know Jacques has been there. I think a couple other people have been to our conference. Well, anyway, if you ever can come down, it's every other year. We're going to be in Anaheim in 2017. We had over 1,300 people come last year. It's huge. You know, it never ceases to amaze me to walk into one of these conferences and look around and look at the number of people here, all who are speaking the same language. They're all speaking primary deficiency. They all want information. They're here to share. And sometimes the camaraderie and the kind of learning you're not alone is just as important as what you're learning from the physicians. So, you know, it's quite an event. And just a little snapshot, we have fun as well as very intensive education. Teen program is something that we started a few years ago, and it's just one of the programs that we're so proud of. We have a teen council. What we found, you know, teen years are not an easy time. It's a particularly bad time to find out that you're different from people. And, you know, you have a disorder, you want to be normal, but you've never met anybody else. What happens on these weekends is parents bring their teens kicking and screaming. Teens don't want to go to a weekend of education. And by the time lunchtime comes around, they've got fun friends. They don't want to leave. The last national conference, I had a bunch of teens who were aging out of the teen program come to me. You've got to do something for us. You know, we're missing our get-togethers, and they help each other. They have online groups. We have Common Ground, an online group for teens. And we have live stages on the website. So what do? Young adults need help. We find that young adults have issues that they don't really want to talk to somebody who's 50 or older. Sorry, but you know, that is what it is. You know, they're worried about how am I going to deal with college? You know, how am I going to deal with a career? How am I going to tell a significant other what my deficiency is? So, and they tend to learn online. So we developed a series of webinars for young adults, and webinars are not always easy to put on, but they're a great way of getting people who can't necessarily travel. So we're at our national conference. We're going to have several get-togethers, like a little cocktail reception just for young adults, and a few sessions with them in mind. We have a volunteer network. We couldn't do the work just from the staff. We have volunteers around the country who, some of them do everything. Some of them want to just do peer support, or they want to help on advocacy. They want to help on our walks and help go to plasma centers. There are a lot of different things our volunteers can do. So when you're asked to volunteer for APIC, you know, don't say no. You don't have to do everything, but maybe there's one thing that you have a talent for that you would like to help with, and that just helps, helps the cause immensely. And I'll talk a little bit about the walk. Is that going to start? Or do I have to do it?
Walk for PI! Walk for PI! Walk for PI!
I walk for my friend Dale, who has Good syndrome, and I walk because I see how his life has been affected by this disease. And other people's stories here at the walk and how their lives have been affected by it. And I hope for change. I hope for good research, money for research, that good treatments can be created so that people's quality of life will be affected and will be good. Zebra strong!
Understood it because it was not in French, but I think you got the gist, and you saw our zebra garb there, so people can be very creative. And the walk can be done, you don't have to have a large organization to do it. Many organizations do it with all volunteers. And it's a great way of creating awareness and getting the community together and raising money for a good cause. And again, our walks in 2016. We started 4 years ago. We add 3 cities each time, and we hope over time to have more. But we do it in places where we have volunteers who want to get involved. We have an IDF Plasma Partners program. We partner with the industry, the plasma centers. Patients will go in and parents will go in and talk to some of the donors who are donating their plasma and saving the lives of our patients. And it's very emotional to say what you're doing is saving my child's life or saving my life. And everybody gets very misty-eyed, and it's a very lovely program and something that could be considered in Canada. We have medical programs, frankly, because physicians need to be educated. And consulting immunologist program is really a lot of physicians don't know how to treat these disorders. So we have some of our top immunologists willing to give their time when it's a peer-to-peer consult. And when we get a call, say if your physician wants to call, they can use this. And a lot of physicians just use it for they may not be experts, but they have some patients and they use it all the time. We have a visiting professor program, wonderful nurse advisory committee, wonderful medical advisory committee, and we try to go to a number of medical conferences as we can around the country. USIDNet, you've heard about the importance of registries. This is the United States registry. We have the grant from the US National Institutes of Health. You need a patient consent to be part of this, but I heard that there's patient consent for your registry. Give consent. There's nothing more important. It's one way that you can have an impact, that you can support research. So I hope you will join the registry in Canada. It's incredibly important for a rare disease organization and something we all take seriously. We also have our own electronic personal health record, because people came to us, I don't know what to do with, I have these notebooks of things, I see many different specialists, and how do we keep track of everything? We developed an electronic personal health record so patients can have a better conversation with their physicians. They can track their infections, they can track what's happening. So when you go in, whether it's 6 months or a year, and how have you been, you can answer that question and say, well, I've been pretty good. No, actually, here on my record, I had sinusitis, I had bronchitis, and it gives a fuller picture of what's really happening to you. I won't go into all the details. We have an app and a quality of life and a research forum. PI Connect, what heaven's name is that? We were able to get a grant from CORI, which in the United States is the Patient Consented Outcomes Research Institute, that is trying to put patient at the center of healthcare. Imagine that. Somebody, an organization actually trying to do this. This is set up by the federal government. And we had the idea of, we have an EPHR, and we have a physician-validated registry. What if we brought the two together? And we have much more robust information. You see what's happening on a real-time basis, more longitudinally, with what's happening with the patients, as well as the validated clinical information. Foundation. So we created PI Connect with the funding from Macquarie and able to enhance our EPHR as well. And you know, it's really empowering patients and researchers to talk to each other. And we're very excited about this. And we've got a number of people, like the 2906 users in the EPHR, over 1,800 of them, have consented to allow their data to be shared with the registry. So it's just enhancing what's already in the registry and putting the patient in the middle. Also has a Promise 29 Quality of Life Survey. This is something developed by the NIH that a lot of organizations are using now. So I heard when they were talking about your registry of quality of life, if you're asked to give a quality of life, fill it out, do it. It's giving more information to your physician on how to better treat you and how to form a partnership with you and what you need and what you want. And you know, it's not just let's treat the infections, it's let's treat everything that's happening in your life as best as possible. Patient advocacy is something we try to do. We have a person 5 days a week answering questions about how to find a specialist, health insurance questions, which are a big deal. I won't bore you with the background of health insurance in the United States, but be glad you're here at times. And not in the United States, but we have good health care, but it can be rather busy to you at times. Top reasons patients come to us for education, for medical or treatment questions, locating an immunologist, health insurance issues, and for volunteering. I won't spend time on this slide, but we track every question we get, and we see trends, and the questions we get are the basis of the programs that we put on. Public advocacy, the government has to know we're here, and this is something that we've always been involved with. And one of the reasons I started the Deficiency Foundation is, you know, my son has a rare disease. There's no organization. No one is looking out for him. There's no one advocating for his disorder or for others like him. And we know how important that is. If we don't use our hands, no one else will do it for us. So this is something we do. We have an annual advocacy day that we bring people to Washington, D.C., to Capitol Hill. We usually have a specific topic, Medicare Part D. We won't get into that because it would mean really nothing to you in Canada. And but this way we bring in patients and they talk to their legislators, usually the ones on the key committees that oversee health. And we've had some real successes, not all the time, but we have. And you know, just kind of a list of our advocacy initiatives. Again, most of them you know, won't pertain to what you're doing here, but you have your own issues in Canada. And again, why you need to be organized. In skin newborn screening, in the United States, we have 42 states that are screening for skin, which means that these babies with severe combined immune deficiency, their lives are being saved because they're being picked up at birth. And they're getting the treatment, the bone marrow transplantation, in some cases gene therapy now that they need. Later diagnosis usually results in a child costing the system a lot of money and not thriving and generally dying very early. Very, very sad disease that has a cure, and newborn screening is something that you know, is just a no-brainer to get behind. And I know Ava is getting behind that. In Quebec, we have a few states we're very unhappy about, but we will be picking on them, and we do think that they will be screening before very long. And we do have materials. We're happy to share any of our materials. If anyone wants to translate them into French that we've developed for some of the parents and what a newborn screening means. Survey research. Why are we involved in surveys, public opinion research? Well, we started because that happens to be my husband's profession. So he started us as a volunteer doing surveys. You know, what do patients think? What's happening in their lives? And we now have an employee who does surveys all the time because my husband doesn't do them all the time. He does have to earn a living. The surveys have been quite impactful. We have them We use them for our advocacy because many times members of Congress or members of state legislatures, it's one thing to hear the anecdotal information, it's another thing to actually see the data that you can quantify what's happening to our patients. Just to give you a couple of examples of things we found. Every 5 years we do a patient survey, a survey of all patients who are new to IDF, who've never taken a survey before, so they're different cohorts. And the time from onset of symptoms to diagnosis has actually gone up. Well, I guess we're not doing a good job, but the bottom line is we are doing a better job because, frankly, we're picking up the older patients. And so it's, many of you with CDID, I can imagine what you've gone through, what your journey has been, how many years it's taken for diagnosis, and that has skewed the numbers. So it's a good news, bad news. Health status improves after immunoglobulin therapy. Prior to diagnosis, only 16 to 15% good or better health. After diagnosis, 61%. There's one slide we're going to show to members of Congress, so that's it. We did a prevalence survey, found the prevalence of diagnosed patients in the United States is 1 in 1,200. But we also found there was a problem with patients being undertreated. And we have done surveys of physicians and find, I've been already given, I probably have 4 more minutes, so I can't go into this in great detail. But you see over here, the family practice, you probably see the majority, first thing, of our CDID patients don't even think immunoglobulin is recommended. We all have a lot of work to do. We're actually publishing these articles and hoping to impact the professions more. Health insurance surveys in the United States, major changes in healthcare and and data. Just an example of one question that we asked, like you're seeing over 32% have delayed or skipped their IG therapy in the past year. And that's pretty powerful. It's a large number of people, and the majority of the reasons have to do with cost and health insurance. So Jacques asked me to talk a little bit about the IPOPI, the International Patient Organization, that, again, you're doing a lot in Quebec, we're doing things in the United States, but what we're doing is being done around the world. IDF helped create IPOPI, and the whole idea is to bring together countries, organizations from different countries around the world to share information and to learn from each other. I've been on the board of directors for the last decade, and it's been quite an experience. And you can see the objectives to support the national member organizations and diagnosis and care. And it's an important organization, and a lot that we all can learn together. They have a lot of great materials on their site, a lot of them translated to other languages, including French. And biennial is coming up tomorrow. I'm actually flying to Barcelona to be at this biennial meeting where Jacques and I met originally. And a great website with information and patient information leaflets, again, translated into French. So, merci.